Hey guys, Sean here, and welcome back to Sit and Go Trainer. We're doing day 10 today, and we're going to be talking about semi-bluffing. And before we do that, let's do a quick recap of what I talked about yesterday, which is the importance of not calling, the importance of raising and continuation betting and taking control of the hands pre-flop, and I hope you guys saw the importance of it. If you've played any sit and goes in the meantime, try that that I talked about there. Eliminate that call button. Don't use your call buttons. If you want to play a hand, come in for a raise, and if someone's already raised in front of you, re-raise them, and you're going to see some drastic improvements in your results. So today, like I mentioned, we're talking about semi-bluffing, and before we get to that, I guess a lot of you guys have heard about the term bluffing. We see it on TV, and they like to show that here. I'm going to give you guys some words of advice. If you're playing low-end sit and goes, anything I would say $50 and below, you really do not want to be bluffing very often. What happens is these guys see it on TV. They say, "Oh, this guy ran a really big bluff. He's all excited. He wants to show how how tough he is." It's usually a testosterone sort of thing here. But bluffing does not work at the low limits because guys don't know what you're doing. If you're trying to represent, let's say, a made flush on the river or represent a straight possibility out there, if they don't know what you're doing, they're not going to fold, and they will call you down with like the smallest pair on the board. So try to eliminate bluffing from your game altogether, and especially unless you can find an opponent that you know is very good and can understand why he would need to fold in a certain situation. If your opponents can't fold, you definitely do not want to be bluffing, that's for sure. And let me tell you, I found that out the hard way, where many a time I'd make a move and I go, I can't believe this guy would call, but he's not thinking at the same level that I'm trying to. I thought I made this miracle play, and he's just not thinking at that, and he'll call me down with a pair of twos with 5 cards over on the board or something like that. So that's bluffing, but what I want to talk about is actual semi-bluffing, which is bluffing but with a chance at a draw. So if you're on let's say a flush draw, like we talked about in some of the earlier ones where you have 9 outs, and pot odds we talked about in some of the earlier lessons there, but basically bluffing with a draw is kind of like you don't have anything now, but you do have opportunity, you do have outs to improve to a better hand, so sometimes you can do a semi-bluff and actually take a shot at the pot there. So that's what I want to talk about today, and those are the examples I'm going to be showing you today. So we're going to whip over to the replayer here, and I've got 2 hands to show you of how what a semi-bluff looks like. So our player here in the big blind is already in with 1 limper in front. The flop comes down 8, 10, jack. Our player here has a 9 in his hand, so really that's an 8, 9, 10 jack, which is an up and down straight draw. He doesn't really have anything right now except for an ace high, but he's going to take a shot at it. This is what's considered a semi-bluff because he's taking a shot at it with just the up and down straight draw. Now, mind you, I don't like the amount that he bet here, but that's not what this exercise is about. This is not we talked about how much your bet should be, which should be 2/3 of the pot. This is a pot size bet, so that's a little bit too much. He should have come in for maybe about maybe 140, 150, something like that. But that's not the point of this lesson. The point is that this is a straight draw, and he's actually betting at it here, and the opponent ends up actually folding. So that was a good result there for that. It just shows you there. So here's another example. Our player here is in the small blind with 2 diamonds. He just completes, and then 2 diamonds come out on the board there, and he bets out. This is a little bit weak on the bet out. This should be about 130, 140. I mean, 100 is not so bad. It's better than a pot size that they did we saw in the last hand. But again, that's not the point of this lesson. The point is that he's got a flush draw, a nut flush draw, drawing to the ace here with the diamonds, and he's actually betting at it even though he doesn't really have anything right now. And our opponent folds, and he ends up taking it down there. So that just shows you sort of how to do a semi-bluff. You're actually bluffing with not really anything at that point, but with the potential to improve. And by doing it that way, you have 2 ways to win the hand. One, as we saw here, our opponents both folded in that situation. If they call and a diamond comes off, well, your hand's actually going to be more disguised because a lot of people don't bet with the flush draw, so that guy can't really put you on a flush draw considering you were betting it. You have to put you on a pair, so that's kind of a a cool thing too. It sort of disguises your hand, and actually you can probably get paid off a lot more at the end there. So anyway, that's semi-bluffing. Let's for your homework is just basically understanding the idea, very, very simple, of semi-bluffing. It's basically just betting at it, even though you don't have a pair or anything like that, but betting at a draw that you have there. So that's it for today's lesson. Tomorrow's lesson, we're going to be talking about early sit and go play, and we're going to learn the early sit and go strategies of how you need to play in those levels. That's it for today, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.